Okay, this was much weirder than I even possibly dared think.
Right?
So odd. It was so staccato and like, well, again, the Bonnie and Clyde influence, maybe, which is only a year before, right? And it was like,
or it's the same year, I think.
well, I know that they gave Lee Marvin,
67.
you gave him control over the production. He simply handed it to Boorman, said, "Do what you gotta do,"
Yeah,
and that's what he did. So that's
well,
kind of
yeah,
cool.
because he bought the book, right?
Right, and yeah, it was just bizarre.
Yeah, man, there are some stylistic flourishes in this movie. That's
I
for
love it.
sure.
Like the thing behind Scott right now.
Click, click, click.
Click, click.
yeah.
And it doesn't just last for like 20 seconds. It's like several minutes of him.
Yeah, pretty much.
It
It keeps
scores
coming
this
back,
whole
too.
sequence, and it's totally like unmoored from time because it cuts to the woman,
Yeah,
his ex-wife.
I
that's
guess.
wife. Yeah,
Yeah, in the
before she died.
putting on her
several
makeup.
ways.
And she goes to the salon and she puts on her makeup. All this stuff's happening, and he's just walking down this corridor for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's the
It
Peter
sort of
Griffin.
reminded me of there's the oh god, what is that Nicholas Roeg movie? Don't Look
Performance.
Now. No, Don't Look Now, where they're fucking and then they're also getting ready to leave to go.
Brilliantly edited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Also, there's something absurd about the fact that he wanted $93,000. It's like being dogged by a kid says, "I want my $14.17. I'm not going to stop till I get it." But
You know, it occurred to me-
$93,000 would be $750,000
$750,000
in
million.
today's
It's a
money.
large amount of
Why
money.
he's bothering with it? Yes, that'd buy
It's
you
a chunk of
several houses.
change. Although Carol O'Connor's character makes fun of it at the end.
I was like,
He does.
Yeah.
God
Yeah, they
damn,
get
Carol
shot,
O'Connor
so-
is so good because he was in the same time. He was also in the Hunter or whatever. What's the Poitier flick?
Oh,
Night of the Hunter.
no, the heat of the into the heat of the night.
Heat of the Night.
Heat of the
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Carol O'Connor turns in such a good performance in the last scene at the house when he
Yeah.
walks in. What a great character! He's like complaining about they let the landscaping go, and then
Right.
he comes in and he says, I wrote it down. It was so funny. He's got this line.
That house, I covet nothing more than that house.
I
That
looked it up on like
the
Zillow
long
and
shot they showed it. The roofs have little rocks on them, and that took me right back to my childhood.
Yeah.
Our house was tar paper with gravel with little white rocks all over it.
Yeah.
It was a '60s thing.
for sure. So much great '60s architecture.
I
in this
know.
thing. So let me see if I can find it. Oh, so yeah. So he's waiting for him. Carol O'Connor, Brewster comes in, and it get his guy who's carrying his bags get clouded right in the face with a pistol and falls out. Carol O'Connor turns around. Brewster turns around and says, "You're a very bad man, a very destructive man. Why do you run around doing things like this?" He can't believe it's for the money.
Well, he's the businessman who's so abstracted from the violence.
No,
Like,
nobody is interested yeah, they're business. They're all businessmen.
Right.
But he's completely abstracted from the violence. Like he doesn't even order somebody to kill somebody. He
Yeah.
orders somebody to order somebody to kill somebody. Like,
Right.
Like he
Right.
doesn't pull a trigger. He doesn't do anything except sit in an office.
They don't
Which-
get their hands dirty. It's a business.
Which is
The
now
organization.
which is now like that's just how businesses work.
Yeah.
You know, like the funny thing is you watch this with a modern lens and it's like this could be about Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes.
If anything, it reminded me of the Parallax Corporation.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, there was kind of that same feel to it. It's very strange. But yeah, it was just.
Was,
Also,
was
I would
this
say,
the first movie to kind of pick up on French New Wave technique? I mean, because it seems like it
Bonnie
predated.
and Clyde did that too because
I guess
they
that
wanted
was what,
Godard
66?
originally to shoot it.
Was Bonnie and Clyde 66 or 67?
66. This is 67. Yeah.
Right. I think
But,
it was in production in 66.
This came out the same year as Casino Royale, so no one was
Yeah.
doing linear movies at that point.
I was thinking of. I didn't think of Bonnie and Clyde, and the first thing I tried to compare it to talk to somebody about it was Easy Rider because of the flashbacks. The
Oh
Yeah.
constant,
yeah. The
Flashback.
nonlinear storytelling.
yeah, the nonlinear storytelling. But you're right. It's like there are earlier examples, and certainly it feels very European influenced. Well, he's
I
a
mean,
Brit.
he's a Brit, right? Boorman is. But I mean, everybody was being influenced by that.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
thought, Lee Marvin, although it was the middle of the movie and it's his film, it wasn't a great performance. He was just
He's
present.
got like 2 expressions.
I know. He just goes around angrily
He's
stomping
like,
on things.
He's like John Wayne. He's not really an actor. He's a character.
Yeah,
He's present.
exactly.
Yeah.
And this was more like a force of nature, but yeah, I know what you mean.
He keep going, you guys. I'm on a. I missed a cylinder.
If you go by the belief that some people have that he's dead, and this whole movie is him having a final fantasy as he's dying.
Oh, this is an Owl Creek Bridge thing.
This is an Owl Creek Bridge thing.
Maybe.
But I'm just saying, if you look at it through that lens, it makes more sense. Like, I'm not sure the movie's supposed to make sense. I think that might be people going back and trying to make it make sense. But like this kind of shit where he's like, they're listing off all the people who died trying to escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah.
He goes, "How did you get out? How did you make it?"
Right.
And it's like, and he never says anything. He never responds. All he did was go in the water, and you see he can barely even swim into that water.
He's got like 2 bullets in him.
Right. He's turned over and he's, shaking, and then somehow he's just in San Francisco and able to find this guy and all that other stuff. Like,
Actually, might make more sense in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, film logic.
Well, film logic. I mean, it's even for film logic, it's playing.
It's a stretch. It's a real stretch.
I mean, there's that. There's that scene early on when his ex is found on the bed. He finds her on the bed, overdosed. He goes and looks out the window, and when he turns around, she's gone, and the covers have been stripped off the bed. Then there's another shot, and he's back in the room, and it's completely empty of furniture.
Right.
It all happens in about a minute.
Mm-hmm. And it's supposed to be like months later or something.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
But it's not. I think that could be him fantasizing about the future. Like she's gonna disappear. Mm-hmm. This body's gonna get taken away, and the bed's gonna get stripped, and then the furniture's gonna be gone, and
there'll be nothing.
Then there's nothing.
And then at the end of the movie, we jump miraculously from Los Angeles back to San Francisco with no explanation of how they both got there. The Owl Creek Bridge thing's starting to make more and more sense to me.
It is actually. Now you're talking about it, I'm starting to believe.
Doesn't one of them say like something like the money's not here, it's in San Francisco or something?
No, it's
like
Carol
that?
O'Connor's character says.
Yes, but did he take him at gunpoint the whole way?
But you know what's weird?
No, he's a businessman. The whole thing is like, you're gonna show up because you don't want me to keep fucking with your business.
Right.
You're trying to kill me.
Right.
So
also, notice that they said that the whole place we meet up and we hand the money off. It was the last scene was not shot in Alcatraz. It was shot in Fort Point.
Right.
Yeah, and that was even weirder because at the end you got the crane shot and you saw Alcatraz at a distance, and so now we're back to the whole was he dead thing again.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, it's like a little homage to Hitchcock there for Vertigo, which
a little bit.
Where she throws herself into the bay.
This is a throw forward. I also think that Paris, Texas makes more sense if you think that Harry Dean Stanton's dying.
Only because he looks like he's dying.
No, he's doing all that. He's doing all that because he's dying.
No. And
Oh.
he wants to talk to her again. We can talk about it later.
Okay.
All right, let's come back to that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
What did you think of that scene at the beginning? It was like being in a punk show in the mosh pit where they're like wrestling with each other underneath those people as they're like walking over them.
That was crazy.
So odd, yeah.
That was another flashback.
Get a room, boys.
Again, I'm trying to imagine being a moviegoer in 1967 and paying your $2 to go see this opening night and going, what the fuck is happening right now?
And then this is going on?
Yeah.
But
the fuck this is?
That crazy nightclub.
But you're getting too embarrassed to say anything because it's the 60s and you're supposed to be hip. Like, I understood it perfectly. Yeah.
That scene where they're rolling over in bed and every time they do a revolution, it's a different woman.
Yeah, exactly. Again, going back to that theory again.
But that makes more sense to me. Again, this guy just randomly screeching and then the people screeching back at him.
Yeah.
If I saw this in the theater, I would have turned to the person I was with and been like, "What the fuck is going on?
What's happening?"
And evidently, he's
Sheila and I
some
were
famous
saying that.
jazz guy, right?
Yeah, hard to say.
That's what I think. Yeah,
He was supposed to be like a James Brown kind of guy, right? But he just didn't have any lyrics. It was just all the grunts and screams.
Yeah.
But then he would put the mic out to people in the audience, and
I quickly realized
they
don't really do shows like that anymore, John.
I think it's
I don't
supposed
know
to
if
be
anybody ever did shows like that.
It's supposed to feel like a be-in kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. But speaking
I
of
don't know. I saw Kid Rock live in 2001 and it was kind of like this.
I quickly realized there was no point trying to follow this and just to let it sort of wash over.
Why exactly? That's your only hope.
This is the John Boorman who did Zardoz, not the John Boorman who did Deliverance.
Yeah. But also, I kind of enjoy the LA back in the '60s look. It was great.
I actually thought the restoration on this was a very nice, it
was really sharp,
really, really good.
Yeah, that car behind you, Chris, that's a 1967 or '66 Chrysler Imperial convertible. They only made 500 of those. And
he crashed it.
And they destroyed it.
I remember this. I remember reading this many years ago that, demolition derbies, they strip the cars out and they bash into each other into little pieces.
Yeah.
The only car they won't allow is the Chrysler Imperial because it's indestructible. You put them in a demolition derby, they'll win every time.
Pre-scored the back.
Unless you're James.
In fact, for what they did to that Imperial, it was actually not in bad shape at the end. It's just
not James Coburn.
Not James Coburn.
The guy who's the palimony.
That frame didn't get bent. You absolutely could have driven that car right out of that.
Just go and knock the dents out. You're good to go, dude.
I like this movie. I couldn't tell you what the fuck it was about, but I
think the plot was pretty linear. It was a revenge story. He wanted his money.
Yeah,
you know what? I realized when I was watching it, it was like, this is that Mel Gibson movie.
This is Payback. Yeah.
Payback is the same story. Yeah.
I think it's the same story.
Same book.
Right.
It's the same book. It's the Hunter. Yeah. Or Hunter.
And
there's other movies too that are not in any way connected to this and aren't referenced in any way to this, that are also other novels by that same guy in the same series. So it's like they just took it. It would be like if you took James Bond movies and you kept making James Bond novels without ever calling your character James Bond. Like,
he changed his name, right? It's not called Walker in the novel.
Is he Walker in all the books?
No, he's Parker, I think.
Yeah. But is he Parker through the series of books? Is it always?
He is, yeah. But I mean, for some reason they changed it. I don't know.
I don't see a sequel because he died. But that's just.
I read a thing that I guess Soderbergh said that he's ripped this movie off more than anything else he's ever done, and I kind of heard that
because he's on the Criterion commentary. It's him and Boorman on the Criterion commentary.
Oh man!
And Soderbergh owns the shoes that he wore in the hallway. He said when Lee Marvin died, his wife asked if he wanted anything, and he says, "Yeah, I'd love to have that pair of shoes." So
Wow.
But Angie Dickinson. This is our first Angie Dickinson film I had, so didn't do a bad job.
Not terrible.
I thought she was okay,
and she kind of knew who she was in this film. You know what I mean? It's like,
and what's his name? Dean
Wormer. Yeah, he was great.
John Boorman.
It's his
poor guy. That's all we're gonna
right?
know him as, right?
Yeah.
No, he's the fucking mayor from goddamn Dirty Harry.
That
also,
too.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, when he says he fell off the building and she says, "Why did he fall? Why didn't you push him? Or why didn't you throw him?" or something like that. Like, that's a great fucking line. Because you think she's gonna be like, why would you kill him? Like, now we're in trouble. It's like, no, why didn't you kill him?
Yeah. Why didn't you kill him enough?
Accident?
Why didn't you kill him harder? Because that wasn't quite enough.
Can we talk for a second about that incredible mating ritual where she beats the shit out of him and slaps him and he's standing there like a tree?
That was collapses, exhausted. I love it.
She just collapses, and then she hits him with a pool cue, and that consummates it, and then they can have sex. I mean, she hit him hard. It
looked like she actually hit him. I know.
Yeah. He's a big guy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He seems like a big guy.
Yeah.
So got to be at least 6'3", right?
Yeah, something like that. I couldn't tell you.
This is an interesting point that you mentioned that, because it's something I wish I'd taken a screenshot of it. But do you remember when after they get shot in the LA River they go up and he finds the shell casing. And he picks up the shell casing, and what's his name? Yost is like, it's pretty small round, isn't it? And he's like, well, it doesn't matter because it goes really fast. I can't tell what that shell casing is because I can't tell how big these guys are and how big their hands are. That gun, that Winchester Model 70, came in 223 and 308, along with a number of other calibers. It did look like 223, but if those dudes have big hands, that's 308. So like that, it's funny that you mention, is he big, or like how big is he? Because I literally was thinking about that in that scene where it's like, that's
trying to figure out the scale.
Right, because I don't know what the scale is.
Hey Siri, how big is Lee Marvin?
Bigger than you.
Lee Marvin was exactly 6'1".
Yeah. Oh, that's not that overwhelming.
Oh, he's shorter than me.
Yeah. But yeah, there it is. But you know, it's kind of the Hobbit problem. You know, that you don't know how big anything is because people
because everybody is forced perspective.
Exactly.
I love the cars. I love the architecture. I love the clothes. I love.
Look at this interior. Look at this penthouse, man, with the sliding glass doors.
Yeah, it's like Mad Men, but real.
But in real time, yes.
Although Mad Men got surreal in a couple episodes, this was also pretty.
This movie was surreal from almost the get-go.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. But
it's like the Graduate on meth. Like,
there you go. Including the hallway at LAX. So it's like, yeah, surprising past Benjamin Braddock going the other way, you know.
The Graduate on meth is the perfect.
Right. Well, Garfunkel, Simon Garfunkel.
Yeah, right. And playing backwards.
Here's a nice
parallax. Oh, and the music also very good.
Yeah.
Nice parallax view kind of looking shot here.
Yeah.
All right, that's the least controversial movie we've had in a while.
I accept again for the fact that fucking optical printing is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen in my life.
The guy falling out the window.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this movie. Like I kind of came into it going, oh fuck, Lee Marvin, and it's the same plot as Payback, which is a movie I like, but
I like
Payback's a good Mel Gibson movie.
It's funny because John Boorman says that he thinks that they found the script that
Boorman
and Marvin threw out the window.
That's right.
Well, you know what it does? It plays it for laughs. It makes the Mel Gibson, it makes the main character funny instead of Lee Marvin.
Like a robot, basically.
Because there's not a lot of humor in this movie. There's humor in the Carol O'Connor scene, which is the most similar to Payback in that he's just bewildered that this guy's so determined to get his money back.
Yeah.
And the only other joke I can think of in this whole movie is when he sneaks into the hotel to get to the penthouse to get Dean Wormer. There's that scene where he gets on the elevator in the garage and it, of course, stops on the ground floor and the two henchmen are standing there and they don't turn around.
No.
But the door's open and Lee Marvin's just standing there.
All right.
And they don't turn around and then the door's closed again.
He pushes the door closed
because he's not alive.
To distract them at some point.
Because he's a ghost, like
because
Bruce
he's a
Willis
ghost, exactly.
He is. Right. I see dead people.
I know. That ghost.
I tell you, Chris,
that ghost kills a lot of people. So I'm not sure. I'm going back to he wasn't a ghost thing now.
All right, Jim, go. Jim?
As much as I love Paris, Texas, if I were picking a flick to show with this, it would be Lee Marvin and Toshiro Mifune.
Hell in the Pacific, yes.
Which is, I think, the John Boorman movie before this one, right?
I think it is.
Yeah. 66.
That's how they got to know each other, and then that's
probably how they raised the money for this.
Which again, go back and think about that movie for a second, and think about like there's like an hour and 46 minutes, and then like the end of Bambi versus Godzilla, they just blow the island up.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
What did Boorman make after this?
I want to say Deliverance, but I think there's something in between. I'm not sure.
Between this and Deliverance. He's another one of those guys who you look at the filmography and you go, I like that movie. I like that. I really like that movie. Mm-hmm. I like Zardoz. I like Deliverance.
I love Zardoz. Is Zardoz like 72 or 71?
73. Zardoz is 73 or 74. I like Emerald Forest. I really like the one that you
liked Hope and Glory.
That was
Hell in the Pacific is after this.
Fucking movie.
Is
Dawn of
it
the
after
Pacific
this
is
one?
after this, then Leo the Last, then Deliverance, then Zardoz.
Oh, okay.
Then we don't talk about Exorcist 2.
He had paid for his second house. Come on.
I was gonna say, what were we saying before people joined?
We were saying Rad Bradbury needs
Yeah, Ray
Bradbury needs Coke.
Coke.
Well,
Exactly.
that's the thing, right? So Zardoz, which we all love now, like I think it was a turkey when it came out, and then he follows that up with a bigger turkey, Exorcist 2.
But I know, but you and I saw it as kids, and it bent our little brains, right?
But then he made Excalibur, and there's so people adore Excalibur.
I have watched Excalibur within the last month and a half, and that movie is still fucking awesome.
Well, no, it's tight. It's a tight film. It really
Who
is.
plays Merlin? Nigel
Terry.
Nigel Terry.
Not Nigel Terry. That's the king.
Right.
That's
sorry. No, it's what Michael Williamson.
Williamson,
a lot of Nigels in that film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nigel.
I think the reason we're kind of finishing this up early is that I think the film kind of beat us all down with its weirdness. It was like
You're too kind. I was going to
it's
say
kind of like you can't put your hands on point blank because it's like nothing to grab onto.
Well,
fuck all you guys.
Yeah,
that
too.
There's not one of us is going, it sucked.
No, I loved it.
It didn't suck. It was very entertaining.
Yeah, it was.
It was exactly what it was.
And also gorgeously shot, beautiful metro color,
Really
great
both
scope,
these movies are
fantastic
beautiful.
scope composition
we'll
throughout. Just
the
did a
other
fantastic job on this.
Oh, and what a gallery of familiar faces in this thing.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
How many of these
character
guys
actor that was
The
on-
guy
that was
who
on-
plays what's his name, the used car salesman.
Oh,
yeah, Michael Strong. We was
Yeah.
Dr. Corby in Star Trek.
That's
What
right.
are the little girls
I was
made
going to
of?
say, how many of these guys were in either Dragnet or Star Trek?
All of them.
All
No,
of
they're
like
all in
doing
Mannix
60s
and the name of the
TV, right?
game. That's what you're
Lloyd
talking about.
Bachner, I know, was a villain in at least one Columbo.
Mission Impossible. They're probably all in that too.
There's probably a bunch of them also in the Lieutenant, which is
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that
Roddenberry
one.
did
Maybe the Rat
before.
Patrol. Those went off
Two
the
of
air a
them
couple
pop
years
up in the
before.
back of Man from Uncle. Like,
Yeah.
like,
And then
I
there's
would
that
like
one
to
guy.
rewatch The Man from Uncle. I remember it being
It
for
sucked.
kids and adults at the same time.
Yeah.
no, like I said,
Uncle
this
does
is
not
Let's
own
Remember Some Guys character actor edition.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. All right. Well, I guess
All
thumbs.
right. Well, all right. Glad you guys didn't hate it.
I loved it. It was.